Hi everyone. I wanted to create this video to help contextualize some of what I think so many of you are experiencing right now. And one of my colleagues put it really well, I thought, when she described this as a community and global stress response cycle that we're all experiencing right now. And when she talked about it like that, I thought, well, yeah, I learned about that in my somatic experiencing training. So I went back through my notes. I took the beginner and intermediate training. So I'm not a trainer. I haven't taken the advanced or anything yet. But I learned a lot, and I use the somatic experiencing learnings all the time. And I'm going to hopefully give you some of that information in my best way that I can, because I think it really helps us understand what so many of us feeling right now, and why we might be feeling that. So when people talk about the stress response cycle, I drew out my picture of it. And again, forgive me if this isn't perfect, but the way that I understand it is that it begins with the threat that makes us feel that our lives are in danger. Now, this particular threat of COVID, it's an invisible one, and so it's particularly difficult because it's not one that we can easily fight or run away from. In fact, we're having to, most of us, do the opposite. We fight and get away from it by staying inside. And so our normal stress response system that could get away from the lion is going to have a hard time with that. Anyway, I'll go back to this. So we orient to the threat, to the danger, by looking around, where is it? Then our system, seeing that there is in fact danger, it wasn't just the wind, goes into the fight flight, or if in a moment our body decides that the threat is too overwhelming to fight or run away from, we go into freeze. And then if we're able to escape that danger, get away from it, then we're able to complete the stress response cycle. Our parasympathetic nervous system kicks into gear. We can go back into rest and digest, celebrate with our community, got away from the lion, yay, and we can come back down. So that ideally how the stress response system works. Now I think when we're dealing with a chronic stressor like this one, or an invisible one, a lot of us have landed here for a while in the Orient. What's happening? What's going on? Is it really real? We're dealing with such a shock of what's going on. Then many people that I've talked to have started to go into that fight and flight. They're feeling fearfulness and anxiety. Many people angry and irritable, frustrated, having a hard time with the day-to-day without feeling all this energy coming up. And then a number of people I talked to going into the freeze, where they just feel so overwhelmed that they're disconnected, numbed out, dissociated, almost like can't even feel it because it's too much. So I think collectively we're kind of living in this area right now. Hopefully that makes some sense. So now what do we do with that? Because this is going to be going on for some time as far as I understand. So it's not that we can run away from the line, complete the cycle in that way. But fortunately, what we can do is still deal with the fight, flight, and freeze energy and the orient energy that showed up in our bodies. So with the orient part, part of what we do is even just allow ourselves to look around, kind of find our bearings a little bit, because it has been such a shock. Let ourselves find our feet a little bit and see what's changed. and giving ourselves time for our systems to adjust. So if you notice, wow, like I'm just still getting through the shock of it, yeah, give yourselves time to orient to what's going on. For those of us who are caught in the flight, you might help yourself deal with that stress response. Because again, we're dealing with the energy of it by going for a walk outside around the block. It might be kind of just basically helping your body move through that energy that you've got going on. With the fight, it could be something like singing to vocalize and get some words out. It could be doing more like high energy movement to get your heart going. Sometimes people will kind of brush things off like this, kind of get things going in their system that way. A lot of physical stuff helps with this. Even on these things, a good cry can help. So we're talking about ways to move things through your body in a physical way. If we're up at the freeze, then of course you want to be really gentle with yourself, but it may be cautiously checking in with, first, can I notice that I'm in freeze? Then, okay, you're already a little bit more connected. And then are there safe ways that I can feel a little bit more connected to myself or to the world right now? Like, can I use my 5 senses by maybe noticing some, objects that help keep me grounded, some nice, smells or tastes that are present with me here, a cozy blanket, using the senses to help kind of bring you back to the present moment, where, especially if it's a comfortable place you're in, where things actually are okay and you're safe. So that could be a way to use your senses, 5 senses, to come back to the present moment, and use comfort to do that. Yeah, there we have it. Noticing where we are on the stress response cycle, that these are really expected experiences to be having right now, given that we are dealing with a really major stressor, and some possible ways that you could begin to cope with that. I think I'll leave it at that.